Good morning, everybody. It has recently come to my attention that several of you guys do not know how to access the databases that I am telling you will make your life easier. So we're going to do a quick walkthrough on how to get to the databases. So the first thing that you're going to do is go to the Auraria Library. You should all be pros at this. This should be second nature. You know how to get here. If this is not, you need to make it second nature. There's no nice way of wording it. So oftentimes when we come to library websites, we start here where it says start my research. And that's a pretty good place to start. So if you were going to say look for fab.com, you could go back and see there's actually 128 results that may or may not be relevant, but related to fab.com. So you see here, they looked at a fashion website. You can see they got an award. They acquired a specific business to help them deliver their products. They've got some people joining. So if you were going to look for something like that, you would go ahead and use the Start My Research. You looked at fab.com, shows that specifically. However, for what I am talking about as far as doing your market and your industry research, you're actually going to come down below Start My Research. You'll notice there are these three gray boxes. These are the magic areas in your library. These are like the secret prize that no one knows about. These are the secret endings, right? This is the unlocked, because these are actually the more powerful part of the library because it gives you an ability to focus your research on what you're looking at. So databases, this is where we're going to spend our time. Journal list allows you to look specifically at different types of publications. So for example, if you were doing research on a business type in India, you might want to look at the Indian Journal of Business or something like that. So it gives you the ability to really focus in what you're looking for in case you don't want to skim through 128 results for fab.com. So journals will take you straight to the journals. And then research guides are pretty amazing because they teach you how to do research based off of what you're looking to do. So when you get to doing your capstone or your thesis, take some time, hang out here as well. For my class, I'm over here to database lists. All right, this is it. These are actually the most compelling part of the library because the databases, what you see when it says start your research is superficial. The database list gets you down to the raw data. So more information, more details. So there are a couple of ways that you can navigate the database list. The first one is you can limit by subject. So if we want to come up here and look at business, we can see here are all of our business databases. And you'll notice that not all of them are specifically business. These are going to be databases that also have business periodicals in them. So you can look at, we've got our business builder. This is where those statistics that I keep talking about, you can get those really easily. The innovations index, if you're doing something that's super new and different, this gives you an idea of where to find it. A couple of things that will pop up here that'll seem weird actually have to do with monetizing research. So Earth, atmospheric, and aquatic science, there's actually quite a bit done as far as eco-sustainability and monetizing that research. And then Emerald Insight, when you go back and you write more papers, just as an adjacent, Emerald Insight is a great place as a business student to spend a lot of time because they have really diverse, well-curated journals. For us, we're going to come back to this, but so the first thing you can do, search by database type, which is, or excuse me, subject type, which is your businesses for our class. The next thing you can do is limit by content type. So let's say you were interested in, we'll do primary sources. Primary sources is a lot of fun. So if you were interested in primary sources is first person account. So for many of you, I told you get on social media, go to Reddit, go to blogs. All of these constitute as primary resources because this is information that has not been analyzed and packaged. So if you come down here to primary resources, you can find a bunch of information that will look at really what that first person information is. is. So these are going to be data collection. Like here, you'll see we've got travel logs, we've got eulogies. All of these are considered primary research resources for you guys. In this class, you're probably not going to do this. You guys talked a lot about market research. That's a form of primary research, but not what you're going to find in a database. However, if you want to look for something specific like reports, which you guys probably will, you can come down to your reports area and now you'll start seeing this is where you can pull some of your specific statistics. So like one of your groups is working on a product or concept that might be considered adjacent to health. We'll talk a little bit about fitness because that's going to be our spoiler, but they could be adjacent to health. So if you looked at Health Watch, you could go in there and look at trends and information around consumer behavior for this specifically. So if you were looking for something dietary related, you might come to Health Watch and start looking at what are the things that people are doing to improve their health using diet, apparently vegetarianism. So you can also look by types of information you are looking for. When you start getting to thinking about how you want to demonstrate your product, you might want to think about images just as a way to help substantiate and add a different layer of learning. However, for you guys, I'm going to go the way that I usually go because I know exactly what I want. I want to go to business insights. So coming up to business insights, you'll notice there are two good matches, and there's one that says they've got insights into the creation of advertisements, brands, and final release publication. So technically these are business insights, but that's not the name of the database. For us, we have these two. None of you guys have a global business. If you did, you would want to spend a lot of time here because different economies approach business differently, and you will need to find the common thread in order to make your product applicable in different places. Good for you. You guys all have US based businesses. So we're going to come down here to business essentials. This is where you want to be. So here are a couple of things that are important for you guys. You can get your company breakdown. Not in this class, but I teach a class on entrepreneurial finance. And one of the assignments that I give them is that they have to think about a business, an established company that is in a similar, if not identical, industry as what their concept is. And I expect them to come out here to the most searched companies to look at how they break down their P&L. So that they can build their own budget. So you'll see here, for those of you who have taken accounting or finance, here's a really high level cash flow. This tool can break it down for you a little bit more where you can see, okay, where exactly do they spend their money? If you get to a point where you are having to build pro formas or financial projections, this is a really good tool because you'll be able to see, okay, comparable companies, this is where their money goes. It'll help you build some assumptions. So first option up, search companies. You can look by specific companies. You can also look by most used publications. Honestly, if you're going to do this, I'm going to say go to the journal database because that's going to be a little bit more comprehensive, but the options are out there. Most used topics, searched companies, or searched industries. This should be very fascinating for some of you because at least a few of you guys may be looking at the drink and the soft drink industry, so the non-alcoholic. But we are going to, because if I think about where the majority of you guys' work is, we're going to go look at the fitness industry. So a couple of things up, company profile. These are going to be the companies that come up and match for fitness. And then industry profiles. These are also the top suggestions. If you're not seeing what you want in the first couple of tags, press enter. You can see a lot more. But for us, we're going to go to fitness and recreational sports centers because a couple of you guys are working in the gym or gym adjacent space. For those of you whose product offering is not actually a gym, but you are relying on gyms to provide your ideal customer, you're going to spend time here as well, because this is going to help you understand what's going on in the area that you are trying to capitalize on. So a couple of things, we talk about our annual revenue, we talk about the number of employees, number of major companies. We can split this down if we wanted to look at just the United States. This tells us who the top players are. If I were, say, thinking about putting a business next door to a gym, something that I might think about is it might be more beneficial for me to put my product next to a Planet Fitness than, say, a Retro Fitness, when I'm starting to think about how do I position. And this is the level of specificity that you're going to want. So the next iteration, when you guys submit your comprehensive worksheet, looking at you, group who knows what I'm talking about, that you're going to be hanging out next door to a gym, the next iteration, things that we're going to start to look at is Denver has a lot of core power yoga studios. You can see that they're the 5th top company in this space in the United States. So aligning yourself with core power yoga would be a really smart idea. All right, so we are now that we've talked about how we're going to use the companies by revenue, industry overview, we are going to look into custom fitness, because one of your other groups is more in the custom fitness realm than anywhere else. So a couple of things, you can link to global. Related industries become very important. At least one of your groups will want to look for related industries as far as water sports go. You can learn a lot about the prospects there. So we are going to come up here and we're going to look specifically at custom fitness, because this is an emerging industry. All right. Now we are in custom fitness. So this is going to be something that narrows it down to specific groups of people. Programs were designed to meet the needs of lifestyles, ages, and abilities. Stop highlighting. So we're looking at specialized studios, boutique gyms, I don't know what that word is. We're going to say reimagined programs, because I don't know what that word is, that are in response to demand. One of your groups needs to be paying really close attention to this. So a couple of things that we see, we've got boot camp fitness coming up. We talk a little bit about coaching versus ordering. Now we're going to talk about why it matters, how people get interested in it. We've got boot camp fitness, we've got CrossFit, we've got Orange Theory. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Here, we're actually going to talk about CrossFit. This is a really good one. So remember when I told you, you have to know your customers as well as you know your best friend. So looking at CrossFit. So we're developing marketing, and this is very sad that this is the one we chose, but we are developing marketing. So we are figuring out who are our people and how are we going to get in front of them. 86% of CrossFit members are white. Not an ideal statistic, but it's a statistic that we need to know when we are thinking about where we're going to put our gym. Unfortunately, this is a very, very sad observation, and I am sorry that I have to say this. There are still neighborhoods that have predominant population groups. For one group of people, the Golden Triangle in Denver is an area that has a high population of LGBTQ groups. It's not the only one, but I'm just saying, if you want to think about where you get your people for this one, for CrossFit, knowing that 86% of their members list their race as white, I would strongly recommend looking at Highlands Ranch. That seems like that's going to be your jam. 50% of them have incomes over 150,000 annually. Also, this is a pretty good Highlands Ranch thing. That seems to be a more affluent neighborhood in the Denver metro area. Also, 40% report postgraduate degrees. So these are very well-educated clientele. So you want to think about that. We have people who have postgraduate degrees. You are a college student. What are the things that you are learning to value as part of your college education? So these might be people who are looking for fact-based marketing. These might be people who are highly motivated by statistics. Think about that. And then the 56% have children. So something that's interesting here when you think about having children, not having children, is that your motivations change. The way you use your money changes when you have children. You also may conversely think about if 56% of my users have children, maybe they want a break from their kids. Like maybe they want to go someplace that is an adult only space. That could be a value proposition. No kids allowed value proposition. It works for Sandals Resorts. They're the adult only resort for those of you who don't know. Also, we're still working our way through emerging trends. COVID is a really big thing. These are things when we talk about our micro market risks. So you all filled out your micro market risk, and I pushed on all of you and I said, what does it mean for your users? So COVID-19 is a great example of a micro market risk that impacted users. I mean, it was like a really big market risk, but it impacted users. So we started seeing things like shelter in place, unemployment, financial distress, layoffs for the actual companies themselves. However, we know that exercise was still a thing. Like literally, this is straight off of it. It is telling you what you want to say. You start looking at your competitive analysis. CrossFit gyms started hosting live workouts. Gyms allowed members to check out. We also know that this was a really, really banging time for Peloton. This was like their best life. So these are the things that you want to think about. And I'm not saying that everybody is going to get a pandemic, but think about, could video workouts where you have instructors that are targeted to very specific demographics, could that be something that people would do so that they're choosing that instead of your offering? So you want to think about these types of things. Now let's talk a little bit about our current conditions. So we are still rebounding from COVID. You'll notice that this is a little bit dated. So you're going to want to start thinking about how you can update it and make it more relevant, because this is a good starting point. And then here we go. Yay us, some more details about our industry leaders I talked about already. You're going to want to pay attention to it, but that's how you would use an emerging trend. An emerging market trend document. So if you think about the things that we asked for in your market analysis, it's actually quite easy to find. These are the types of things that entrepreneurs have to find by themselves. Like they're going to have to go do all of the research to figure out who are the big players, what do these people do, what are the offerings, what are the comparable offerings. All of this is aggregated together for you, which is why my answer is research smarter, guys. Think about the resources that you have. For those of you who are like, well, maybe this is not the best match for what I'm doing. I'm going, it's great. I know that, white people in Highlands Ranch like to work out, but that's not really good for me. Let's think about another industry. So you're going to come here, you're going to look, you're going to know, this is really important. You're going to say, looks like CrossFit is where I want to do my thing, but that's not specifically what my thing is. So now let's go look for the soft drink industry. So you'll notice there are a couple of things: soft drink manufacturing, drinking places. Wow. Let's go ahead and press enter to see if there's something that's a better fit than soft drink manufacturing. All right, so we've got a couple of industries here: soft drink manufacturing and flavored syrup. Probably not the best fit for what we're looking for. Let's go look for protein supplements. Protein supplements. All right, so we've got some companies. We know that these are companies that we're going to want to pay attention to, because our evil professors like, well, why would I come to this one versus another one? We've got some academic journals and we've got some market research, but none of these are a good match. So we're going to go back to start looking at this is a good match. I'm glad I scrolled down. We're going to go back and look at soft drink manufacturing, because that will give us an idea of consumption, but we're going to have to start thinking smart about how do we pull this information together to create a compelling analysis of our organization. But because I didn't scroll down this far when I was learning about your guys' industries to help support you through this class, I missed best-selling dietary supplements. Oh, yay, look. So we are learning that apparently people like plant and animal combos. There's nothing in here that is directly there, but for those of you guys who are looking at dietary supplements that have protein in them, these are good things for you to know, because this is telling you what your market size is in dollars based off of items. So plant and animal combo, if I were you, I would contemplate this being part of your offering, because this is the one that people seem to spend the most money on. You want to make money because you want to still be a company at the end of the day. All right, so protein supplement, not a big win, a little bit too specific. So we're going to come back here and look at soft drinks. So we're going to look at soft drink manufacturing, because technically a soft drink is anything that is not a alcoholic drink. That being said, this might not be the best way to look. And this is where, if you know what a company that does something similar is, you can search by that company, learn everything you need to know about that company. We're going to say premium non-alcoholic beverages is a good way to look. We talked about there's lots of alcohol, lots and lots and lots of alcohol. People started getting into non-alcoholic. This is really going to be looking at the increase in, this one is not for us because it's talking about like no alcohol, which is cool. So let me see. I'm going to try one more thing and then we're going to move on. Smoothie. Not a match. Shakes. I'm trying to help you out and find your product for you. Not a match. All right, we're going to try one more thing. Okay, food truck, not a match. So you guys will need to think about how you look around to get what you need. And maybe you don't find what you need here. Something to think about as well. So we're going to come back over here to our business databases. So there are a couple more of you guys out there. So, and for this one, we're going to take a peek-see at the business databases themselves, because one of your groups is in an area that you're going to need to think about how you are approaching your title. So we're going to come to Business Source Premier, because we're going to look for reports there, because you guys, one of your groups is working on a hybrid between education and business. So you're going to want to be thoughtful about how you find your information. Education. And we're going to be looking for, you're going to be looking for either a trade publication or an industry profile. So we're going to look at online education. We're going to come down here and we're going to look for an industry profile. We're going to search. So a couple of areas where you can start thinking about for you guys specifically, you know who you are. These are the types of things that you're going to want to think about. So for those of you who have a value proposition that may involve access to resources, you're going to want to start looking at what are effective resources. You guys have a pretty good product offering out there. One of you mentioned AI, two of you mentioned AI. So I would say, come here, take a peek-see here. This is going to be in your, I lost it already. Where did it go? I lost it. It's going to be in a very specific, this is in Business Source Premier. That being said, you also will find information on Business Insights. So educational support services is a place that I would go to find out more about what's going on, more of the offerings out there. You can start getting more specific, as if you were looking for exam prep and tutoring, maybe. Sounds like that might be something you would want to look at and see if you can understand. So there is a power walkthrough on how to access your databases. Remember, we come to the Auraria Library, we click database search, how to use quite a few of our databases. So if you are going to be using business source, which is a really, really good one, you need to think about what type of data are you looking for. Industry profile is pretty good. None of you guys are doing global, or so country report is not as relevant. You can look at trade publications. So when I talk about looking for trends, if people are talking about these types of things, trade publications tend to publish before academic or peer-reviewed journals. So more than likely, the most timely academic and peer-reviewed you'll do would have been research that was gathered in 22 or early 23. Trade publications have a much shorter publication cycle. And then if you come up here to Business Insights, you spend some time poking around, see what you can learn. And hopefully, this makes your next go around and refining your market analysis a little bit easier.